Welcome to the FallenState. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Thank you so much for being with me. I do appreciate it. You can support the FallenState by going to TheFallenState.tv/donate. And thank you all in advance. And we're also on locals.com. Locals.com. You can go there and support our work as well. All right? Thank you all in advance. We're doing something different today. And we are introducing all of the hosts on the Jesse Lee Peterson radio network. And so long story short, I started this nonprofit organization called BOND, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny, 33 and a half years ago. And I just had no idea it would turn out to be what it is today. I had no idea, zero idea. And I'm just so forth, thank God, has been allowed to let things happen. Whatever happened, happened. How long it lasts, it lasted. And so Bond is a nonprofit. We have we counsel, we tutor. We have an entrepreneur program where we're teaching men how to start businesses, or those who are already in business, we help them. And we have a credit union to support it. Because some of the guys don't have credit. They have bad credit. They stayed at home too long with mama, and they have bad credit, so we make them a loan and they pay back with interest. We have church services. We have men's forums every first Thursday night of the month, and ladies forum every third Thursday night of the month. Then we started this radio network. It's amazing. So what I want to do is start a 24-hour talk radio with men only for 24 hours, Monday through Friday, maybe every day. And I wanted to introduce you to the host on the Jesse Lee Peterson radio network, all right? And so I have with me, he's been here forever, and the first one to start his show on the Jesse Lee Peterson network, the Hake Report.com. And the Hake Report, to my left, and your right, you know, depending on what part of the world you're in, and maybe on your right too. But the Hake Report, Monday through Friday, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then after the Hake Report, the Anchor Baby, Monday through Friday. Monday through Thursday for right now is 12 p.m. Pacific time. The American Anchor Baby Show, to my, right there in the white shirt. And then after that, Joel Friday TV, he black.
Before that.
Before?
Before him, before his show.
No, you after him. You black, better known as Arkansas. And so Arkansas, Joel Friday TV is every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Every Tuesday. And so that's the lineup for now, and we'll be adding hours and more hosts as it happens. All right? So I wanted to introduce them to you today, and so you tune in, tell people about it. And so welcome, guys.
Thank you.
So what I want to do first is find out the Hake Report. Tell the folks what your show is about.
Well, my show is about news, people in the news, politics, a little bit of like spirituality type of stuff. And I talk about pop culture a little bit. And I take calls, argue with blacks, argue with Black Hebrew Israelites, argue with whites, flat earthers. And I just like having fun and getting it off my chest about what's going on in the world.
Amazing. So, okay.
News from an alpha male.
Yeah, it's news. I talk about the news from a Christian alpha male perspective, as one person called it.
Right, yeah. Hake is a homegrown Christian.
Yeah.
He took Christianity at home.
I thought you were going to say he took Christianity too far.
Too far. He did the joke too far.
Yeah.
And then we have the American Anchor Baby here, right? Nick, tell us about your show, what it's pretty much about.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, you said American Anchor Baby, and I know that's a strange name, but it's so near and dear to my heart. People ask me, Nick, doesn't that bother you? You get called an anchor baby. I hear they've been calling you this for years. What people don't know is that I came up with that name, and it's just a factual statement. We talk about anchor babies. You hear Jesse and his story, and my story that my mom
So his
jumped
mother,
over the border.
in case you don't know how he came about what an anchor baby is, so his mother was on the other side of the border, somewhere over there with Allah Uba or somebody. And she got pregnant over there, and she decided that she wanted to become a citizen. And so just 2 minutes before Nick was ready to drop out, she jumped across the borderline into America. She dropped him on the ground, and then she ran back. And they became Americans.
And that's close enough to the real story. Well, we're gonna gloss over some details, but it's close enough to call me an anchor baby, and I say that with a joy, because I have this citizenship and I'm in this country and all that, and it's like, oh, the name American Anchor Baby. Think of that as a oxymoron. How can you be both? So I like having conversations that are challenging, and I like showing my appreciation to the things that are right in America and in the history, and so that's what my show is about. If I can describe it, it's the way I see life and how I live in America with the heart of an American, even if I may not have had the lineage. Thank you.
Amazing. Also, the Anchor Baby on Fridays, he's on at 4 p.m. Pacific time, and he's flying high every Friday. Not off fentanyl, not off pot, but God-given natural energy. Tell them about that, Flying.
I don't even know where this came about, but it's a bit of a unique format. You can check it out, like Jesse said, on Fridays. But I'm a pilot, okay? I fly a plane. You want to have an experience, a show you haven't quite had? Check out my Friday show, where I basically run the show from a virtual plane. And I'm the captain of the show, and we have fun. We take calls, we do topics, and I do all sorts of stuff on that format of the show. Like I said, topics, calls, and all sorts of stuff.
It's an amazing show, too, on Fridays as well. You're flying while you're having real conversations. Amazing. Then we have JLP Friday TV every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And what is your show primarily about, even though you do different things as well?
Yeah, so basically, mostly I talk about life stuff, and dating and relationships, but more from like the spiritual perspective, faith-based, just whatever it may be. It's just more from like a spiritual perspective. And mostly the calls that I get are mostly people arguing with my specific beliefs. And it's interesting. You got to check it out, or you got to check out the past shows, because it's very interesting. But yeah, mainly just spiritual perspective.
When you say faith-based, what does that mean?
Like, I say that for like the people who, because the people in the world, they say faith-based. They don't say like God. They don't like to use the word God, so they say faith-based.
But what does faith-based mean?
It's just like a, what would you call it? Like a genre of...
In the ballpark of God.
Yeah, it's like...
You don't want to scare the people
with the
off.
public, the public uses faith-based.
So faith-based mean what, though?
It's like a sweeter word for Christian, or not Christian, because that could be anything. Like a sweeter word for God.
Oh, yeah?
Like a believer.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Nice. Joel, how did you find Bond?
Now I gotta remember. How did I find? Oh, I was at a Bible study with my uncle. So my uncle
Lord.
knew.
Well, of course. You got to be at a Bible study. A faith-based Bible study.
And my uncle knew who Jesse was. I didn't know who Jesse was. And then I went over there for a Bible study, and he had Jesse playing on the TV. And same kind of similar thing. It was very like, he was just naturally funny, so it was interesting to watch. But even the things he was saying during the episode that I was watching, it was kind of crazy. It felt crazy at first. Like, it was like, really? And then it wasn't until
You're like, what the?
all the way until the end. I think it was the last 5 minutes of the show, he was talking about anger and how you shouldn't have it. You got to forgive. And that just something clicked for me. And right after that, I went straight home and watched like 100 videos just trying to understand it. And in my mind, he was either crazy or onto something. And yeah, one thing led to another, and I ended up coming to the men's forum and then church, and then I haven't been able to leave.
Amazing. And how did you find it, Nick?
So I grew up in Canada. I'm an anchor baby in Canada. And so I was born in
What
America.
a mess.
Like Ted Cruz.
Absolute mess.
Like Ted Cruz.
That's true. Trump said that. But I'm born in America, but we moved up to Canada when I was a kid. And so, long story short, fast forward to around 2015, 2016. And at that time, Trump was running. It was lighting up everyone. It was lighting up emotions everywhere. And at the time, I was watching it all happen. And people, I've said the story before a number of times, but I'd see people around me who had never cared about politics, never cared about just suddenly pick a side and be rabid and emotional and all into this or that side that I saw that it was evil. And I didn't believe in God. I didn't believe in anything. I just pretty much I had decided I was an atheist sometime in high school and was like that since then. So basically, I saw all this evil. I concluded that it had to be evil. There must have been, if there's evil, there must be good. The point is, I started thinking there might be a God. I'm on YouTube. Somewhere in the sidebar of YouTube, thank you, YouTube algorithm. I found God in the YouTube algorithm. I'm going in the YouTube. I'm in the sidebar, and I find this video of Jesse talking to this ex-Baltimore cop. It might have been the Jesse Lee Peterson show. He was like this little guy, and he was so angry, and I had already kind of woken up to politics a little bit. I was like, oh yeah, conservatives, get the SJWs. Yo, these pink-haired radicals, what weirdos. Anyways, I see this video of him talking to this cop, and he's telling him about anger. It was over. That was over. I had a girlfriend at the time. I'm like, anger's evil. Anger's evil. She's like, what's going on with this guy?
You're like, what the?
And I found Bond, the Bond Rebuilding the Man YouTube channel, and I devoured every church video I could find.
And then
That was years ago.
you moved to the States as a chef, right?
Right, I was cooking. And so I'd play Jesse, the JLP show and stuff, while I'm cutting like 30 onions, tomatoes every morning. I'm just, cooking. Crying. But it was fun. Cooking was really fun. And I got Jesse going, and life's changing. It's interesting. I end up forgiving. I go to my mom. And I'm on my own already. Anyways, I'm already living on my own for a long time. The point is, I end up looking at my drawer, and I find my American passport. And I'm like, I got one of these. And I'm already like trumped out. I'm like, at this point, I'm trumped out. I'm like, America's the best country in the world. And I'm like, let's go see it. Let's go see America. Long story short, I was going to go to Texas. I had even looked up apartments. I'm like, I can live like a king for this much in Texas?
Yeah.
Let's just pass by LA. Let's just pass by. I was just going to come see you just to see you. I ended up at a men's forum, and like Joel never left.
And also, Nick contacted us. He asked, could he do internship?
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Kelly.
Yeah.
Shout out Kelly.
Yeah, shout out to Kelly.
She was
and Kelly was the producer of TheFallenState at the time.
She was my immigration customs agent.
Yeah.
Into this wonderful country. That was so funny. Yeah, I reached out to Kelly, and I had mentioned, I'm like, so you guys, like, do you guys have anybody, do you guys need help or anything? Like, there's so many people who come here I meet, and they ask me the same thing, and I remember me when I was asking that.
Yeah.
And so one thing led to another. I ended up at a men's forum. I told you who I was. I'm the guy who was talking to Kelly. And that actually didn't work out, if you remember. I came for a little bit, and I did some interning and trying to get guests, but I was cooking. I ended up cooking at the Chateau Marmont, and I was busy cooking. I'm like, I got to make money. And, thank you, Jesse, but I brought you a bunch of cannolis.
Right. I remember that, too.
It was my parting gift.
He started here as an intern, but it was free. He wasn't getting paid. And so he had to go back to Chateau Marmont. And,
very fancy. Chateau Marmont.
Chateau Marmont. And so what happened was, at the time, Hake was the producer, I believe.
I was producer for the radio show, yeah.
Yeah, he was the producer for the radio show. And so when Hake started his own show on the network, we needed a new producer. Am I right?
I forget whether Daniel was producer or whether I was producer. But
Do you remember who was producer?
Daniel.
Daniel.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
But anyway, we
Something like
needed
that.
a new producer. And so because Nick had already done an intern here, I knew him. He was very smart and knew a go-getter and all that. So Kelly recommended, why don't you get Nick? I'm like, oh, okay. And so we called Nick to offer him the producer job for my radio show. So he came back on full-time as an employee.
I quit the chateau that day.
Yeah, he quit the Mama Chateau that day.
I met Robert Downey Jr. I met Nicole Kidman. That guy who was the Green Goblin in Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
the young guy or the old guy?
The old guy.
Amazing.
His name
Guy's name.
Nice. Huh?
Kelly called you?
Huh?
Kelly called you and said, "Oh, there's a position here as a producer."
Jesse called
I
me.
did.
Oh, you called?
After Kelly recommended me, shout out Kelly, my immigration officer.
Yeah, Kelly
Thank you.
really liked working with him as an intern. He was very bright, worked very hard.
And she just called him.
Yeah, she recommended him, then I called him.
What was your first thought when you?
You don't want to speak into the mic?
I quit the chateau.
What was your first thought when you saw the number?
I couldn't believe it. Well, I didn't see the number. It was Jesse, and he's like, "You want a job?" I said, "Yes."
Easy.
Nice. And then, Hake, how did you find Bar?
So I was traveling back and forth between. I took a month off of work or a few weeks off of work, working at my old job, and I was traveling back and forth between friends in like Seattle and Portland, and I visited a church at one point because I was looking for the truth, and somebody's like, "You're from L.A. You should check out Jesse Lee Peterson. He has Brotherhood of a New Destiny." And so after I came home, that same Sunday, I came to a Bond Sunday service, and you were out of town. You were doing one of your Stop Obama's Socialist Change speaking tours or something.
Oh, yeah. I used to travel around the country stopping Obama.
It might have been before that, actually, because this was in February of 2007.
Yeah.
And I liked how there were men running the meeting. Like, finally, a church that wasn't, okay, maybe there's a male pastor, but the whole rest of it is just women running the show. So one of the guys was presenting, like, running the meeting. Kind of like you had Doug and you had Joel running the meeting when you were out.
Yeah, I had some people came in at those 2 Sundays and they saw someone else sitting there for me, Joel, and then Doug. They're like, damn. I came all this way for nothing.
I know. I said sorry.
No, I'm playing.
And so I came back the next week and you were here, and you picked me out, like you pick out the first-time visitors.
Not all the time,
Sometimes.
just most of the time.
But I was like
know.
visibly like reacting and agreeing with what you were saying.
Yeah.
And you offered me a job, and you're like, I don't normally just offer people jobs on the spot. And I almost took it, but I was just starting out with my dad, the old place, the cabinet shop. And so I didn't go with it, but I kept on coming to church. And eventually, several years later, your old producer was becoming a teacher at the Bond Leadership Academy.
Right.
So you called me up, and it was a time when the cabinet shop was going under. And so it was like the first time I worked 7 days, and you asked me if I wanted to be the producer. I'd never done anything like that, but I decided to go with it. But I agreed with basically your message of you are responsibility.
Yeah.
Like the Christian message that you can overcome sin, you can have peace. One of the guys, when I first came and you were there, said that shyness, it comes from anger. And I'd never considered that before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's actually true. So I think just basically everything you said was more biblical than any of the rest of the preachers who say, oh, you continue to sin, we're never gonna have perfect peace and stuff like that.
That's too bad too.
So I stayed with it because I liked the truth.
And what y'all don't know is Hake used to come on Sundays, right? And he was like sugar water. He was so scared.
Worse than Mike Pence.
Worse than Mike Pence.
Worse than
He made
who's
Mike
that
Pence
other
look strong. And so I would call up on him
Worse than
because
Mitch
he was so nervous, right?
guy? Worse than Lindsey Graham.
And then it got to the point where I would have Hake open the meeting before I get up to start talking. And he was so stressed out, he was like, I'm not coming no more. He stopped coming.
Yeah, I stopped coming. I traveled with a buddy down to tend the bird traps down in way down in South Orange County on the Sunday morning.
Because he was so nervous about getting up talking. And so when I found that out, I'm like, all right, we're not going to make you get up. But all that changed. Once he became the producer and started speaking up. And when I think about it, I have to literally just think about that Hake used to be a real beta. A real beta. Beta. Amazing. So I got to do this. So what is a man, Joel?
I think a man is one who wants what's right, but is also walking in it. And your next question is, am I?
Are you a man or a male?
I'll say male. Reason why I say male is because, yeah, I see how the battle within myself, still wanting to live in the world, but still also trying to overcome. So I wouldn't say that I am fully in that transformation of walking in the light as Jesus would at all times.
Amazing. How about you, Nick? Anchor baby, What's a man?
Anchor man. A man has love, and that's how I can say it simply. A man just has true love, and that word is so perverted and mysterious and has lost all meaning. And my life lately has been at least trying to discover what that word really means. But I know I'm convicted that a man has true love, and true love is dynamic. It's in the moment. You can't. It understands, and it has no preconceived identity of macho. It has to look like this or that way. It's just real love.
Amazing.
It's so vague, but the reason it's vague because I myself am still discovering that.
Nice. Hake, what is a man? Oh, let me ask, are you a man or a male?
I'm a man in a male's body.
Amazing.
Trapped in a male body.
What is a man, Hake?
A man is just normal, like he's just a normal, real person, but who's a man, obviously.
Man is normal, just a normal, real person?
Yeah.
What the?
But who's a man? Because maybe a woman could be a normal, real person.
Amazing. And are you a man or a male?
Deep down inside, I'm a man.
Yeah, it's like we have to find a way to say we're a man.
Yeah.
Even if we diminish it a little bit.
We gotta throw it in. But you talking about Hake, sugar water, blah blah blah. But he was attracted to the church because it was a man talking. That, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, at the time, you'd think
The truth.
You know.
Amazing. Oh, let me ask, do you all agree that Jesus was a man?
Now that you ask, you make me question it. But at the time, yeah, I agreed with it.
That he was a man? Mm-hmm. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, when he said it, I thought the same. But now you're making me think of human. Do you mean human? Like, another thing about that though is people say, "Oh, Jesus, knowing Jesus," but I never met him. Right? I'm the blind one.
Joe, you agree with that? Jesus,
yeah.
And why?
Why I think Jesus is a man?
Yeah.
Just the example that we believe that he set, or I believe that he set, not just from the scriptures that we read, but just from little things that I've seen in my life that I can understand what he meant by certain things that he did that would only take a real man, to be able to carry out. So I believe yeah, Jesus was the example of a man.
So he was a man.
He was.
Jesus was a spirit. And he lived in a male's body, but he was a spirit. And because we think that he was a man, we don't get past that until we overcome all those identities. And then you stop identifying as a man, and a woman stop identifying as a woman, and you identify as a spirit. Because we're all really spirit. We're not physical at all. We live in a physical body to navigate on earth, but we are a spirit. And Jesus was a spirit in a body, a physical body. But he never identified with the body, he identified with the spirit. That's why he said we should walk in the spirit. And when all these identities die, you start to really forget about being a male or a female. You become a spirit. And that's what we try to get back to, our true self. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Is anybody going to change their answer now?
What? What?
About the man answer.
I still say he was normal.
And why does that make sense to you that he was a spirit?
Well, as soon as you asked the question, I thought of that.
Oh,
I thought
okay.
of not those words necessarily, but just that he, like you've talked about in church with Jesse Lee Peterson, where I'm producer. You talk about how we're not even to identify with human being.
Right.
Because we drop our body, we still go on.
We're still a spirit in the same way we can do here on earth. Live as a spirit. That makes sense? What do you call it, faith-based persons?
Faith-based?
Did you say you
Faith-based
faith?
podcast.
Your show is faith-based?
Yeah.
So does that make sense, faith-based?
No, I mean it makes sense if you replace the word man and put spirit. I think it's still it leaves my question. I mean my answer the same as am I a man or am I what the question was, because even with spirit there's still a necessity to be in spirit is to walk in spirit. And when you're not walking in spirit and you're walking in ego, then you're riding two horses. So, yeah,
We
it makes
use
sense
the word man to communicate on earth,
Yeah.
but we shouldn't be seeing ourselves as anything.
Yeah, I see that.
You know what I mean? So let me ask, Joel, since you have the mic already, have you ever dated?
Yes, I've dated.
Have you ever dated?
Yes. Yes.
And how about you, Hake?
Yes.
So women today are smacking men. Smacking them, cussing them out.
Physically
treating
and
them
spiritually.
Embarrassing. So, any of you guys ever been smacked by a woman?
Plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth. That means yes.
I've been smacked when I was a kid by girls, but not as a man.
Not as a man.
Yeah.
How about you?
You trying to Fed post? Trying to get me incriminated? No, I've never had that.
How about you, Joel?
Yes.
What?
Yes, as a child, smacked as a child, no, but smacked while dating, I have.
Really?
Yeah,
A woman smacked you?
Yeah.
And how did you deal
but
with it?
Not smack, punch.
She punched you?
Yeah.
And how did you deal with it?
I didn't hit her back.
Why not?
I just in that moment, it was also it was before I had an understanding of the proper way. Not even that you get hit like a but it was also before understanding that there's certain things you just don't let certain people do. But I think in that moment, I didn't see to respond with hitting her back. I just didn't see to do it, and I didn't. But I deal with the situation, meaning that raise my voice or whatever the case may be. I did that, but in the moment, should I have hit her? I don't know. Should I have hit her back? Should I have swung, knocked her out? I don't know. But yeah, that's definitely happened.
Before I went to Bond, I used to not hit women, but not. I've been saved.
I disavow. Disavow, you can get that from the HakeReport.com. Amazing stuff.
Product placement.
Also, boomers.
I love boomers. A lot of people dismiss boomers.
Yeah.
A lot of people dismiss boomers. They say, okay, boomer, both left and right. But
They
If
need
I love
boomers.
anybody, and that's a big if, I love boomers.
And Joel, how did you deal with it once this woman punched you?
Yeah.
Around how old were you at the time?
Well, I was like 21.
Whoa!
But the thing is, too,
Were you still living at home with mama?
I was still living at home.
No wonder.
I knew you didn't want to. But the thing is, too, is that there was a lot that happened within the situation to where I was at fault for certain things, too, that was said. So it
And
wasn't
so
like
you deserved to smack from the woman?
she stood, not necessarily, but she necessarily didn't deserve what I had, how I started. Like, she didn't just stand up and like, bow. If that was the case, then you may respond differently. But we were drinking at the time when I would drink. We were drinking at the time, and then one thing led to another, and I said some things that shouldn't have been said, and then she was like, "Say it again," and see what happened. And it was in front of all my friends. So
Whoa.
at this time, I'm like, well, she just said that to me. I'm not gonna not say nothing in front of my friend. Ego was involved. So I said it again, and she warned me, and then she threw a punch. Boom, and then I hit the floor. I'm playing. No, but I was shocked, and I don't remember much of what happened, but I remember just like raising my voice and kicking her out the house. She was at my friend's house, and kicking her out my friend's house, and she left. But yeah, I just didn't. My response instinctually wasn't to swing back.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry. I was just kind of embarrassed. I was embarrassed more. So out of my embarrassment, I pretend to get angry and like curse and to like look tough. But then, yeah, she just left, and that was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you forgive your mother, Nick?
Yeah, I did.
And how did that go for you? Were you afraid to do it?
A little bit.
And how did it go?
So I pretty much had been convicted that I'm gonna forgive her. I was living a city away, so like 30 minutes away, and I pretty much put it off for a few months. But I was like, but I don't feel fear. I'll just get to it. I'm just lazy. But so she was alone at my sister's office, and I show up, and I'm like, this is the perfect moment. She's by herself. She's in, and I got a little scared. I didn't realize I was there. The point is, I sat down and I told her the truth, because I really did see just how her spirit influenced me,
Yeah.
which is hard to miss in my case. I mean, which is a little easy to miss in my case, because she's like a decent woman.
Right.
She's decent. She's like a nice lady, but I saw it. I saw it within me, the female spirit, and I knew I had to forgive. The point is, I went up to her, I told her, and she was like super confused. I didn't realize that what I know now is that she totally,
Right.
she knows.
Yeah, like, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
so it's been like a little confusing thing. Like, oh, I don't know. So tell me again. Anyways, it's so interesting because just like these guys are describing, my relationship with her has changed.
Nice. And how did you change? Did you change after you forgave her? Dealt with
I
her?
changed?
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah. I was dating at the time, and I stopped talking to her. So I had a girlfriend at the time, and I started acting just different, and that fizzled out. It was like friction, but I stopped acting the way I was with her, which was so weak. It was like I was almost, I don't even
You
want
a
to say.
beta?
Like, and that changed, and I saw that kind of spread outwards to other things and other
Yeah.
relationships.
If you want to be free, folks, you got to forgive mama and return to your father. Otherwise, you never will be free. Amazing. And I know you want to forgive your mother. How did that go for you? Were you afraid?
Yeah, it was kind of tough. I went to both my parents actually a couple of times. The first time I went after I realized that I did actually resent them, because I remember waking up thinking about stuff like, oh my gosh, I actually do hate them.
Yeah.
And I remember hating them too. And so I told them that. I told them I hated them. But I didn't tell them I was sorry. And then later, a few years later,
I hate you and I'm not sorry.
and what was funny, so mama. Like my mother's like trying to get me to go out to eat with them every week so that resentment can't build up in her mind. That's what she's thinking. That's her mama solution.
Yeah.
But later I talked to them about other stuff that was going on years later, and it was kind of hard to spit it out that I was wrong for that I knew that I was wrong for judging them, because I definitely judged them.
Why was it hard to say that part?
I don't know. It's kind of like when you're supposed to say you're sorry, and it's hard to say it.
Yeah.
Even though you know you're wrong.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
Indeed.
Remember Donald Trump said he doesn't have to keep going to Jesus about he's sorry.
Right.
He just doesn't do it anymore.
Right.
Well, anyway.
And the Christians judged him for that. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So shallow. But yeah, I spit out that I knew I was wrong for judging them. And you said after that, how do I?
How have you changed? Did you change after that? In what way?
I'm not sure if I changed, but I did. Over the years, I have noticed that I realized that I feel like I've gotten a little bit wiser in dealing with people and dealing with myself.
Yeah.
In that people really can't help themselves, nor can I. And it's kind of like anything else that you're dealing with. Jesus told us not to worry.
Yeah.
But you get in a funk because you realize that you made a mistake that could have gone really badly, or like drunk drivers, or people who are really angry and sometimes violently angry or whatever, or they're afraid and they feel like they'll never change. You're worrying about your life, and that's not praying.
Right. Absolutely.
We're supposed to be stay with God.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Joel, you went and forgave your mother?
Yeah.
Is she black?
She's mostly white.
Oh.
She's Creole.
She's mostly white.
Yeah, she's Creole. She's Cajun, so she's mostly white and some black and some Spanish and other things mixed
So
in.
she have more white than she does black?
She's more white.
How do you measure that?
Because, well,
Everybody want to be white.
well,
Ear
we're
swatches.
Right.
and the genes. My grandparents came from Louisiana, and my grandparents were full Creole as well from the South. And Creoles from the South are typically they're French, mostly French, was European, and then a little bit of black because that thing was going on back then. And yeah, so then my mom is mostly Creole. Well, my mom is Creole, full Creole. Both her parents were Creole, and then my mom dated my father, who's black, so I'm mostly black, but also white.
Whenever I hear the word Creole, I often think of crawfish.
Yeah,
That's weird. That's
yeah,
you
like
just-
gumbo, all
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah,
Isn't that weird?
okra.
Huh?
Big what do they call them? Boils.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Big boil.
all that.
I didn't even know you could eat crawfish. We used to catch them in Alabama in the lake when we were fishing.
Yeah.
And we used to catch a lot of crawfish, but we threw them back.
It's
Because
for
I didn't
fun.
know you're supposed to eat them.
Yeah,
It didn't seem like they had any meat on their bone.
yeah, gumbo, okra, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
But long story short, you went and forgave your mother.
Yes.
Were you afraid?
I was more afraid with my dad. I wasn't afraid with my mom.
How did it go?
With my mom? With my mom, it was pretty simple. Of course, I was still nervous. I went there and I told her, how I felt about the situation. And I told her that, these are the things I didn't like, and you raised me this way, and blah, blah, blah. And she had denied it at first. She denied it, but I knew that she knew what I was saying was true. She just couldn't admit it. But from that situation, that is where I truly realized, or saw the most change, was forgiving my mom, because growing up, I was like subject to women. Every girl that I dated, every like crush that I had, I was like silly boy with it. And then after I forgave, that like I totally got my authority back, which I didn't even know was possible, didn't even know that existed
How deep?
until I started dealing with women after that, and it totally has changed. You really do, if you truly forgive, you do get your authority back, and it's just a different relationship I have with women now in general. So.
And then you
that
went
was
and
good.
forgave your father. That was harder.
Yeah, that was hard. That one was hard because I was always really afraid of my dad, and I always like seen him as like a monster in my eyes, like a bully, because he was very angry growing up, and he would always kind of like lash out on my mom and my stepmom. And he's better now, but he was really angry. So growing up, seeing that and hearing like waking up in the middle of the night and hearing people screaming traumatized me. So when I was facing him, every time I would think I want to speak up to him, I would feel like he gonna kill me. Like there was no in between ground. It was like if I say too much, he might go too far and like take my life. Right? Just Satan was busy, but I went there and forgave him, and it totally didn't go that way. It actually went really good, and he didn't even know I felt that way, and we had a great conversation. And then afterwards, the change is a little bit slower than how it was my mom. I'm still overcoming, because I had a lot of fear when it came to him, so I'm still overcoming that fear part. But understanding it and seeing it is allowing it to change, and dealing with certain situations due to just facing him in general has been.
I think the reason most fathers are surprised when their kids come and say, I resent you, because the father know that the fight is with the wife or the mother of the kids. He never thinks of his fight being with his children.
Right.
And so when the kids come and say, I forgive you, it's surprising to them.
Yeah.
And so that's why your father was surprised. He didn't know that you resented him. A father don't think of their children. They're mad at the mama and the mama-in-law. They're not mad at the children.
Yeah, and I was always kind of shy and afraid to speak up. So I'd always like smile or like grin at him.
Yeah.
And to him, he's thinking everything's fine, because I couldn't tell him the truth. But yeah, I don't think he ever knew that there was a problem there.
Yep. Joel, what is love? What is love?
Baby, you know.
Baby, don't hurt me
I think
no more.
I think love is just the absence of all thought, all worry, all fear, all emotions. Just just really, really being in the present, but like truly in the present, not just, catching it for a moment. Really like your spirit being in the place of the moment, in the present, out of your head, not feeling fear, none of that. I think it's just the absence of all ego, all Satan nature.
Okay. Nick, what is love?
Love is the source of life. And love, what it is you've already said it, so out of appreciation, the absence of hate.
Yeah.
When there's no hate, that's the only thing that's left. But the reason that's the only thing that's left, because it has nothing to do with you, didn't create it, it was already there.
Yep.
So the absence of hate, I'll leave it at that.
What is love, Hake?
Love is being normal with people, not controlling. That's that.
Okay, so listen, I got to put you all on the hot seat right now. We're running out of time here, so these questions need to be answered as quickly as possible.
The hot seat.
Hake, how do you make a boy? Every child, every man, real men make boys first.
This is not a hot seat question.
Like a Christian.
Real men make boys, what?
Like a Christian.
You make boys first like a Christian?
Yes.
What? How does a man make a boy?
Ask Beyonce, then do the opposite. She's telling you to go one direction. You know that song where she's telling you to go one direction? Go the other direction. to the.
How do you make a boy?
You got to do it right.
Just a vibe.
You got to do it right.
How do you make a boy? Every men used to make boys first. Now beta males make girls
And none of
first.
us have children. This is funny.
I've yet to test the method, but I promise you.
Yet to be proven wrong.
So there is a secret to making boys first, but I can't say it on air. But there is a secret. That's why men used to make boys first, and the older men will always tell the younger men how to make boys first. And everybody make boys first for the most part. Anyway, Joel, have you ever been in a fist fight?
Yes.
Did you win?
Win some, lose some. Win some, lose some.
Okay, Hake, would you rather marry a Jewish woman or a black woman?
Terrible.
Is she mildly attractive?
Yeah, they have to be mildly attractive. A Jew for Jesus, probably.
Anchor Baby, how much can you bench press?
Give or take 190, give or take, plus or minus 100 pounds.
That means 10. All those giving and taking, you taking all weight, buddy.
I got confused.
Right. Joel, is vaping beta or alpha? Vaping.
Beta.
What?
Beta.
Vaping is beta?
Oral fixation.
What?
Oral fixation. You want a bottle.
Oh, that what that is? Has anyone ever told Hopper to beat you, Joel?
I never heard of Harpo until I came here.
You told Hopper to beat me.
That's Color Purple, though, right?
All
That's
my life.
okay.
Backwards.
Oh, yeah. What the?
Has anyone ever told Hopper to beat you?
Oh, I never
I've
answered
seen
that.
I've heard of this Harpo, and I've heard of this poor woman getting beat by Harpo, but I keep out hearing all this hollering, but no one to
No.
me.
And you said, what did you say?
No, I never.
But
been-
Hopper beat you once.
Oh yeah.
Miss Hopper
Well, who's
beat you.
Harpo? Who's Harpo? That's the question. Who's Harpo?
You don't want to dox her name, but you already told her.
That's
Told
right.
us about
Oh,
her.
that's it.
Has anyone ever told Hopper to beat you? James?
Satan told Harpo to hit me in the arm, but I could handle it. That was tough.
Nice. Let me ask this way, and then we got to end this thing. Should a man own a gun?
Legally, yes.
Should a man own a gun?
Yeah.
Should a man own a gun?
I don't think a gun is dependent upon a man. I don't think a man is dependent on if he has a gun or not.
But the question is, should a man
You want a yes or no?
own a gun?
Should he? No.
Wow, no wonder you baited.
He can.
No wonder you got smacked by a woman. So, thank you guys for taking the hot seat. When your show is on, why should they watch it?
Shows on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific time. You
Joel
should
Friday TV.
on Joel Friday TV YouTube channel, and you should watch it because I haven't had depression, anxiety, none of that stuff in a very long time, and I think I have a good perspective on how not to have that mess.
Tell the folks why they should watch the American Anchor Baby. And
Yeah, you can find my show, American Anchor Baby, on YouTube and Rumble. You can find it, American Anchor Baby. I'm live Monday through Thursday at noon Pacific time. Every Friday we do a different type of show where I'm flying the virtual plane. It's fun. And if there's one reason why you should watch my show, it's because really, and this goes for all the shows on the network, we're just like real dudes with our own perspectives. But I sincerely don't think you'll be getting a lot of the perspective and takes anywhere else than the Bond Network on human nature, love, and we see the world. We take in the news, we take in the events, the current events, all that, but we have a different lens over it. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Thank you.
tell the folks why they should watch the Hake Report and when is it on.
You should watch it if you want to, because I'm starting to interview more people, and I really like talking to the haters and the people who disagree strongly. Constructive criticism and destructive criticism, as long as it's not too vulgar. And I'm live Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. TheHakeReport.com.
And you disavow.
And I disavow for the sake of my channels.
So listen, my show is on Monday through Friday on the radio network from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time. So tune in there. If you want to overcome the fallen state, you should tune. And so the radio just so you'll be clear, the radio network is different than the fallen state. The fallen state is his own identity as well. entity as well. And then the radio show is the radio network. So go to rebuildingdemand.com to get more information about that. And
JesseLeePeterson.com/show.
JesseLeePeterson.com/show. And my hope, I don't know if it's going to work or not, men need to take over again. There's God's order, God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, woman over children. And you can overcome that fallen state by forgiving your mother. Every human being has to do that, and God will change your nature, all right? Forgive, don't ask for forgiveness, but apologize for resenting. And so we're building a network of men in order to bring things back to order. And the radio network is a way to do it. It's going to be 24 hours a day. If you're interested in maybe having a show on the network, send your information to producer at JesseLeePeterson.com, producer at JesseLeePeterson.com. So we have the Fallen State here, we have church on Sundays, we have the radio network, we have women's forum on Thursday, the third Thursday night, men's forum on the first Thursday night of the month, counseling for everybody and their mama. And we're just doing it. And thank you all for your support. Remember that the Fallen State is, you can support the Fallen State by going to TheFallenState.tv/donate. And we're also on locals.com. Thank you all for tuning in. If you have suggestions for the Fallen State as guests or the radio network, let us know. All right? Let us hear from you. We do appreciate you. We appreciate your support. And we're building this network come hell or high water. All right? And we have more guys lined up to fill in all the empty slots that we have there. All right? So thank you again for tuning in. I do appreciate it. And thank you guys for coming on. It was amazing. Nice.
Did you have fun?
Oh, did you have fun?
No, Jesse, have you had fun in these
amazing
past
time.
30 years?
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. Thank y'all.